Hey there, I'm making this short video to give some tips to parents who've got a high schooler at home right now. So I know you're trying to be productive, but right, we're all overwhelmed and this time is so difficult for everybody. Um, we're all exhausted over so many different things and the world at home, everywhere, friends and family. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that I'm hearing about and that we use here. But why me, right? Well, obviously, I'm a mom of a teenager, or I wouldn't be here. But why listen to me? I don't know. For this first part, because disclaimer, I don't have any great statistics of any super successes that work for me at home. I am not a formal educator, nor am I a homeschooler, but like all of us as a smart mom, I've definitely got some ideas there. But the bigger point here and why I was asked by a homeschooling group to create this video was because I'm a life skills advocate for art and skills. We focus predominantly on the practical life skills, which is super applicable right here, right? Because of the top three things people are spending their time on right now is, what can I learn? What can I do at home? I've got a new skill. I've got, something that's been on my list that I've been wanting to learn. So this is a really, really great time to take that pause and try to come up with, a plan on how you train yourself on some of the things that you've been wanting to. Um, so I've got a couple tips for you. I've got 3 tips because 3 tips is a great way to do this, right? Um, so tip number 1 is kind of focus on your kid's personality. You can't teach all kids the same way. You can't even teach your own kids all the same way, as we know. So some kids are better learners than others. Some are more independent learners than others. You have to really take the age of your child or teen into account for this. So that's one thing, being adaptable and flexible and kind of adjusting what you think that you might want to do. Um, I know that a lot of schools right now have been sending, remote learning opportunities. I don't know whether they're formally doing it for you or doing it more, on a suggested basis. But I mean, obviously, our inclination, right, is to try to get those worksheets done and try to keep our kids on track. And that's going to be a lot harder kind of a thing to do right now. You've got motivated kids who really are interested in learning or like to use their time. And then you've got, on the other hand, less motivated kids that, typically don't follow all their homework or forget to turn things in. And now you've got this situation where, you're trying to do that on your own now or have them do that on their own. So I think you got to, adjust your expectations on the personality of your children. So that's kind of tip number 1, at least, is to give yourself a break and try to, know that you need to adjust your plans a bit and your expectations. Tip number 2 is trying to figure out, how much self-discipline your child actually does have. Maybe there isn't actually, work on your plate right now that did come from the school or from the teachers. If there isn't, then, you might want to be a little proactive and take a look at some of their, curriculum or their coursework plan. I think, the order, and you can work ahead a little bit. And that might help them when they actually come back on board, with a regular schedule. They may not feel that they've missed too much. Another great way to supplement, and that was just on the academic side, right? My forte is kind of more like the practical life skills I was telling you about. So, what I think is a great thing to do is to print a list, have a list of all the life skills. We have one, you can get that on our site. I'll give you the link later at Art and Skills. But you can get, if you have a whole list to follow, you can mark off, you can keep score, you can use that as a reward. The life skills could be things like, around the house, not chore things, but like learning new things, learning to fix things around the house, doing minor repairs, different kinds of, maybe pet care that they haven't done yet, depending on how old the kids are. Of course, if the high schoolers are here, they know that, but, helping others, trying to figure out some things online. I suggest that you do this in kind of like little micro content chunks. We do all our programs like in 5 or 10 minutes. So I think that's really a good way to give a brief overview of things, lay out the line, and then let your teens try to figure out, how they want to learn it on their own, what their approach is. Definitely less structured during this time is a really good way to go. So if you're doing like a new recipe or something, or maybe you're trying to train them on meal planning, it's probably better to do that like around a meal as opposed to sitting it down and trying to do, an actual like lesson time about it. Have it be more, wrapped into your day. So have, these little micro lessons or something that you want, whatever you want to call it, have it be through like the nooks and the crannies of the day. That's probably a lot better way to do it and not feel like it's so in their face that they need to be learning something. So that's definitely part of like, how you can discipline, around the actual learning each day for what you feel like you'd like to have them learn, but also let them learn it on their own in their own time. So, each of us, each side has their self-discipline here. Um, I think definitely a little less hands-on is probably a good approach. At least that's what I'm hearing from a lot of parents that's working right now is a little bit, less involvement where you can. This is, again, not for every kid, right? We talked about number one was the personality, and number two was the degree of self-discipline. So not for everybody, but where it makes sense, that's a pretty sensible approach. Um, maybe you can have them go off and learn something and then come back and kind of demonstrate things or show you the next time and have them do it the next time. And then you go, they got it. I know, check. As opposed to, fill out this worksheet and tell me what happened. So that's probably a good thing. I mean, one of the things that we did actually, not in this time now, a couple of years ago, actually, in a downtime vacation time, my son had a Scouts project, a Boy Scouts project, and he was trying to work on some badge elements. And I said, well, some of the things that he came up with were really smart, and they were, training other kids on the things that he knew. So I just told you what my work is, and you kind of get the connection. He actually, through that, helped create the business model for Ardent Skills. So you just never know what might come out of these, the minds, the brilliant minds, and the time now that they have to be a little extra creative. Let the mind flow a little bit better. If you have multiple children in the family and you've got siblings, why don't you have your high schooler actually teach the younger kids? We learn as we teach, right? So would they. I think that's an awesome way. It'll keep you a little bit less involved, but they learn better. As they teach and train other people. That's kind of our mantra. What we do. We at Art and Skills kind of live in the social learning space. So it's more, what can other people train what they're really good at to others. So I think if, the older high schoolers teach the younger kids, that's an awesome, awesome way to do. For some of the soft skills, like more gratitude and serving and etiquette and things that you might want to call, soft skills as opposed to like the practical, hard kind of skills. Those soft skills, we've actually got some courses on our site that you can, they're all free, and they're on things like, on gratitude or on success habits and things like that. So you can take a look over there. Of course, there's plenty of resources out there as well. But that's it. Now, tip number three. Three would be about screen time. So there are a huge variety of how people are handling this. And if you're actually, working from home, during this time, it's going to be a lot harder to manage things than if you were, less time if it's focused on your own work and you have time to, manage the school schedule and the training schedule and that kind of a thing. So everybody, right? Big variety here, so no direct advice, but I can tell you, limiting screen time in some shape or form is obviously, all of our goals. So if you have a chunk that's comfortable for you, and what makes sense for your family. Have that chunk of time as off, regular screen time. Obviously now school is also, on top of that, right? You've got, your remote learning time that you need too for a couple hours, but, um, you know, definitely limiting that time, and then make it an earnable time to add the extras. So things like, if you've demonstrated, XYZ today, then, you get 2 extra hours this evening or something like that. Um, that's up to you how you might want to work it, but that's just kind of an idea of how to be able to limit, but yet also make it a reward thing. So hopefully that's a, good tip for you. And that's kind of most of the tips that I had. 1, 2, and 3. So there's a lot more resources that I can provide you. So the website is www.ardentskills.com, or you can email us at poweredup@ardentskills.com, and we will get you links for anything that you want. In fact, we've got youth entrepreneurship guide. We've got a mini course for parents who want to train their kids on entrepreneurship from the home. So that's exactly how to do that. If you've got a teen that is looking to get into modeling or acting, we've got a fantastic guide that was done in coordination with a modeling agency. That is completely current, and they can start working on their skills and learning more about the industry like right now and during this time. And the other big program that we have is for financial literacy, which is crucial, not so much available out there, right, for early learners. So this would be a good thing. You can take a look at all of that. We also have lots of free resources. So again, we've got a YouTube channel with videos, kids teaching kids there. We've got a blog, and we've got, of course, a Facebook group, actually, Powered Up Life Skills, where you can join in, give us your tips, share with some other parents what's going on for you, maybe train on something that you're really good at. That would be awesome. We would love to see you there. And any questions or resources, hopefully, I don't know where exactly this video will be posted, so side or down, look for some links of some additional resources, because you've got things like museums that are opening up their links. You've got zoos that are doing live webcams. And I've put a few links together for you, but you can go search for those things as well for the ones that are in your local area. So we hope that this helped. We highly encourage you to, do what you can, make this, downtime as productive as you can, to be able to move yourselves forward positively, but also give yourselves a break. Don't feel like you need to do everything now. Take it day by day, do what you can, and let the rest go. Maybe save our links and let us help you again, as you go through other times as well. So thanks for joining today, and see you on the other side.